Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. And again, we're doing another historical build from the SJC Edison. Today we have the 6th place deck that was played by Jarel Winston. Jarel Winston placed this high that day by playing a mix of Lightsworn and a little bit of Monarchs to create a very creative, technical control build. And as per the usual with Edison format, I'm missing a card. So it's going to be Magical Android. We are subbing a copy of Catastor today. I'll explain the difference when we get to it. If you guys want to see the side deck, you guys can go to edisonformat.com. Check it out in the historical decks. These videos already end up way longer than regular speed duel stuff, so I'm not trying to hold you guys all day. So let's get into it. This guy played a 42 card main deck, and first card he plays is a copy of Gale. And again, this is a good tuner. This is probably one of the best tuners at the time because of the shrinking ability. So again, ban list says 1, you play 1. Next up, you're going to play one of the best Monarchs. You're going to play 3 copies of Caius. Now, the way Caius works is when he's tribute summoned, you get to remove from play a card from the field. And if it's a dark monster card, you get to inflict 1,000 points to the opponent. Now, it does not mean he only removes monsters. At this point in time, this guy can hit whatever's a card on the field. So he could take out a field spell, he could take out a fusion, he could take out your back row, it doesn't matter. So very technical, very good card. Next up, we are going to play Card Trooper. Again, we are playing like a little bit of Lightsworn. It's not that we're playing towards Judgment Dragon or anything. He's actually going to be using it as a sub-engine. However, this does help us eliminate some of the cards in the deck and get to some of the other later strategies. So it's still good. 2 copies of Cyber Dragon because Cyber Dragon is a good starter. And again, if you think about it, you could go Cyber Dragon as the special summon into Gale, shrink something, and immediately be into an 8-star Synchro. Let's see what's happening with the focus. So again, this is like a really common tactic of the time period. One of the cards you might hope to hit with the Card Trooper is the Double Dandelion. Again, it's great. You put it on the board. You can synchronize with it immediately. And or the tokens that come off of it when it goes to the graveyard. So again, very multi-tool card, one that we want to pull back with a single copy of Debris Dragon. And this allows us to go into your 7s, since he can only go into Dragon Synchros. So this is like your Ancient Fairy, this is your Black Rose. As far as your plays go, it's pretty standard. Next card, we're going to have our single copy Gorz the Emissary of Darkness, because again, getting hit while you have nothing. You can either get this plus a token worth the damage that you took, or you can deal damage back to your opponent if you took effect damage, like say you were playing up against that Gravekeeper's Burn from Monday. You would be able to return fire with Gorz and still board the monster card. So again, pretty strong play. Moving into some of the Lightsworn cards. 2 copies of Jane. Jane's just a really good striker. Starts at 18 through its effect. When attacks an opponent's monster, gains 300 attack damage step only. During the end phases, this is going to mill 2 cards off the top of your deck. Pretty fair stuff. 2 copies, Lila. Now, Lila will mill 3. She starts at 17, and her effect is to move her from attack to defense mode by effect in order for her to destroy a spell trap on the opponent's side of the field. If she does this, she cannot move her battle position the next turn. But it is like having 2 more MSTs in your deck. Plus, it's Lightsworn. This is going to matter here in a little bit. This is going to be for some good stuff. And then our last Lightsworn monster that we want to run, we're going to run 3 copies Raikou, because Raikou, not only is he a beast type, he's literally a beast in the game. The way the effect works, flip, target card on the field, destroy that card. After that, send the top 3 of your deck to the graveyard. Now, you can target. You could choose not to destroy anything just to get the mill. But in this instance, I believe we are always going for the flip and pop. So again, pretty good stuff. Next up, we're going to have 1 copy of my favorite Potato Sangan. Again, he's going to search out a lot of the lower characters. This gives us access to Gale. This gives us access to Dandelion, Debris Dragon, Card Trooper, Raikou, and the next card, as well as the last card in the deck list. So it's pretty good. Next up, we're going to be talking Super Nimble Mega Hamsters. These guys are awesome. They allow you to, when they flip, special summon a level 3 or lower beast from the deck and face down defense. This allows you, if you need to set it and forget it, you can set this to know that you're going to progress into Raikou. So again, it has the potential to block 2 attacks while technically blocking a third. First attack gets absorbed, second attack gets absorbed, third attack is negated and taken off the books because you're going to destroy the third monster. So again, it's kind of defensive. It's kind of cool. Next up, we're going to be playing 2 copies, Thestalos, the Firestorm Monarch. And again, this, and I want to say like anywhere between this and Reaper format, maybe GOAT. I don't remember if he was considered available in GOAT. I don't know when Rise of the Duelist really came out at this point in my time. But the way this guy's going to work is when he's tribute summoned successfully, you're going to pick a random card out of your opponent's hand, send it from the hand to the graveyard, and then if it was a monster card, they're going to burn 100 points per star level on the card. So again, if it's a 1-star card, it's 100 points. If you pop a god card, which did not exist in this time, I don't think, you're talking about 1,000. So good stuff, kind of fun. And again, it kind of helps solidify the fact that it was supposed to be Monarchs. Last monster card of the deck, single copy Treeborn Frog. As long as you don't have a card in your back row while he's in the discard pile, he can resurrect during your standby phase. Good card, fun card. Again, totally doesn't matter if you flip this out with the card trooper. This and Dandelion would actually prefer it, as it helps you get to their effects a little bit quicker. Moving into the spells, we're dealing with a double Book of Moon. Again, just really good overall card. Single copy Brain Control because, you know, your tuners are my tuners at that point, but at the same time, your non-tuners are also my non-tuners. So good strategy right here. The Heavy Storm, we want to clear out the back row. The single MST, because it's a normal package. We are playing a lot of mill and discard stuff, so we are going to have 3 copies Pot of Avarice, allowing us to put 5 monsters back in the deck, shuffle, draw 2. Again, we get more use out of the Dandelion. Anything that we milled that we didn't want to mill, we can kind of recover. And it leads us to having this monster heavy build. Next up, we are going to use 2 copies of Solar Recharge, because as long as you're playing the Lightsworn, you want to get as many draw options as possible. This will allow you to discard one of those Lightsworn cards to draw 2, then mill 2. Again, feeds back into the Pot of Avarice. Next up, traps. I'm going to go with the 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. Pretty standard in this time period. Double Dimension Prison, pretty standard. Single Mirror Force, pretty standard. A really cool tech card. 2 copies, Phoenix Wingwind Blast. So for a discard, you can take a card from your opponent's side of the field and spin it back to the top of the deck. It's just awesome. I love the fact that even though it's targeting, it's not a destroy effect. So again, if we do see like Stardust Dragon, because, you know, I tried to do my Heavy Storm and you're like, no, Starlight Road. I'm going to be like, okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and put him back on the extra deck because he can't exist on the top of the deck. And it's pretty cheap. It's easy. I can flip the Dandelion or the Treeborn for it. I can set the Treeborn play up, or I can get the Dandelion tokens while doing it. So it's pretty good. And then last card for the 42 card main deck, single copy Torrential. It needs no explanation. You guys already know. So give me a second and I will be back with the extra deck in just a moment. All right, my friends, and we're back. So first thing, and again, this makes way more sense with Mr. Winston's build, and mostly because the double Cyber Dragon already in the main build. We're obviously going to have 2 copies Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Again, if he runs up against Machina, if he runs up against Gadget, if he's got somebody else who just happens to have a Cyber Dragon or something out, Cyber Dragon in a card trooper, it's quick to snap them up. Doesn't even have to use his own Cyber Dragon at that point. If the opponent has multiple machines and a Cyber Dragon, you can just use this. Like, it is amazing. Next up, I've got 2 Allied Justice Catastor. He played 1. The other card would be the 5-star Magical Android, generic Synchro monster. And at the end of the turn, you gain like 600 life per psychic that you control face up. So again, it's Monarch stats. So it's 200 points stronger than Catastor. But it's also like $18 right now, and I can't afford to get a copy just to be throwing it around on these videos and not actually playing the card. And by that, I just mean like regularly. I mean, it's fine. It's a good card. Next up, single copy Ancient Fairy Dragon, Obvious Reasons, helps tear apart field spells, gives us extra summons. B Rose Dragon, got the field detonation for us. Bryanak has selective discards to bounce things, which is going to be great in an era where Stardust is everywhere. Colossal Fighter as the out against Dark Arm Dragon. Goyo Guardian as the strongest 6-star with the ability to pull things back, allowing us to reuse our opponent's tuners or their best monsters. Single copy Mistworm for the trip bounce. Red Dragon Arcfiend, because sometimes, and again, if I look back at the stats here, if we had a Dandelion, but we also had a fluff token sitting around, or any other way to equal, like maybe there's 2 Raikos or something, or there's a fluff token, a card trooper, and a debris dragon. There's a bunch of different ways that this could happen. This could be another 8-star off the debris dragon, not just a regular 8-star anyway. And again, he does help us tear apart through a line. If he breaks a defense monster, we get to break all of them. 2 Stardust Dragons for the obvious reasons. This deck actually summons them. I'm looking in the side digitally right now, off to the side with my tablet. And he plays them. He just actually summons these. Those Starlight Roads. And again, if you guys are interested in his side deck, you guys can find it on Edison, edisonformat.com or edisondex.com, Edison Format, where I found these lists. Next up, he has a single copy Thought Ruler for obvious reasons. It's good. And then he had like this really tricksy, cool character here at the end, and I want to talk about it. So let's talk about Zeman the Ape King. So it's a Dark Tuner, which, again, that's his Gale. Maybe it's just Gale. So it's Dark Tuner, and then 1 non-tuner Beast-type monster. Now, I'm not sure how this works, because if Gale is his thing, then there it goes. It's the Super Nimble Mega Hamster. So Nimble Mega Hamster plus Gale equals Zeman. Brilliant. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap until the end of the damage step, which makes this amazing, even though it's Dark Magician stats for the most part. It gains an effect from the Ancient Gear cards. Additionally, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can select that monster and send 1 from your hand or your side of the field to the grave to negate. Now, if you sent 1 from the hand to negate, it could be Dandelion, which could then, I don't know, give you more fluff tokens to use for this ability. Or, the Treeborn Frog. This is a weird tech, but it works in his deck. It's very playable. And, yeah. Thank you, Jarel Winston, for placing as high as you did that day. Again, this deck received 6th place at SJC Edison. So, it did well. It did well for the day. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy the next one. If you guys want to support the channel, like, comment, sub, do the things, don't do the things. Do one thing for me, guys. Go out and enjoy your day. Go do something that you've been putting off that you want to do for yourself. I don't care if it's like your favorite fast food once or like your favorite cup of coffee. Go treat yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope to see you guys again on Friday. And until then, you guys have a good one. I'll see you later. Peace.